What's going on, Aquarius? How are you doing? Hope you're doing super well. This is the Autistic Mystic, and this is your reading for the week of April 15th to the 21st, 2024. So in this reading, we're going to take a look at your overall general energy for the week. We're going to take a look at some things you don't see coming, and we're also going to get some advice from your angels and spirit guides for you, and so much more regarding this upcoming week in April 2024, Aquarius. So without further ado, I'm going to pull the energy for you, and we'll see what is coming your way. As always, I would like to thank the angels, the interdimensional beings, and the spirit guides who are overseeing this act of divination for the sign of Aquarius. Wow. All right, Aquarius, really interesting energy that you have going on here. Before we get into the tarot, let's go ahead and start this reading off with some pre-shuffled oracle cards. And these are some messages from Spirit to you about the energy that you're going to be navigating for this upcoming week. Let me just show you them in successive order. You have the third house of communication and interaction. You have Chiron, which represents inner healing. It represents your deepest wound, but it also represents holistic healing. And Chiron was a maverick who was like a half man, half horse who was rejected at birth, but eventually became very smart, essentially. And a lot of people trusted his wisdom. And you also have the seventh house of love and partnerships and one-to-one relationships of all kinds. So it definitely seems like there's a theme of like deep wounding when it comes to you speaking and communicating within your one-to-one relationships is what Spirit is letting you know. So be very aware of the words that you're speaking and like how they're affecting people. There's something coming to my mind that sometimes like words stick with people more than like a physical injury. And I feel like there is a danger here of you saying something to someone that really sticks with them for life. And so it's like really be careful about how you communicate within your one-to-one relationships. There's also something about bringing alternative healing or like a holistic approach to the way that you speak and your love and relationships. Some of you, you're going to be thrown off because there's going to be someone here who's going to help heal you, but it might not look like the way that you think. Like, for example, I was on a walk the other day and I had like a 1-minute talk with like this homeless guy who like said the exact synchronistic thing that I needed to hear at that time. And it was like, wow, it's like a very Chiron third house communication interaction that really helped me. So I feel like for some of you, there is a theme, of be careful before you reject wisdom if it doesn't look like it's coming from the correct package. Okay. And this could also have to do with one of your one-to-one relationships, someone who is trying to give you healing, but maybe you're not receiving it or something like that in some sort of way, Aquarius. So let's go ahead and get into the tarot. Your opportunity is the Six of Swords in reverse. And this is an interesting opportunity. For some of you, I feel that the opportunity is to not run away and close down from wounding within one of your one-to-one relationships, because there's going to be something that's going to happen for this week for many of you that's going to make you want to jump ship or just completely change course and basically, move from choppy waters to calm waters. Because it's in reverse though, I do feel like for some of you, based on your intuition, there's an opportunity to not run away, to weather the storm of healing within a relationship for you, okay, within one of your specific one-to-one relationships. For others of you though, the Six of Swords is saying get out if there's an abusive relationship happening. For some of you, if you genuinely are being abused in some sort of way, verbally or within a relationship on purpose or something like that, then the Six of Swords in reverse may mean you need to get out of where you are. You need to get out of the relationship, or you need to take a break no matter how you need to do it. Even if it's like, I just need to walk out, I don't know where I'm going. So based on your intuition, be aware. You have the Knight of Pentacles in your challenge. So I feel like it's going to take some time for you to really integrate whatever happens this week in terms of wounding in your relationships. I do feel like there's going to be a big truth that's going to come out, that someone may provoke you into realizing a truth about yourself, or like the way that you've been interacting with people. Roles can be reversed as well. But I feel like no matter what, like the challenge is to be slow, methodical, and to not give up on your plan for some of you. The Knight of Pentacles is someone who goes into something with a plan, in a very grounded way. So if you have a certain relationship plan or a business partnership plan, the challenge may be to actually remain committed to it despite the challenge that comes up this week. For others of you, though, there may be you need to rebuild your life from the ground up now that a relationship is exiting your life. So depending on who you are, let's go to your overall general energy. You have the Ten of Wands, the Ace of Swords, and the Justice card here, which is a very interesting frequency. The Ten of Wands is a frequency of too much weight. There's too much passion going on. This person is being overworked and underpaid, and something is coming to an end in terms of like suppressing the fire within you. You also have the Ace of Swords, which is the sword of truth. It's a new beginning to the mental realm, and it could be something that helps alleviate conflict, because the swords have to do with the mind, but also conflict with people. And then you have the Justice card, which is all about bringing balance to the realm of thought, and it's all about karma and balance as well. So I feel like when you're listening to this, you could be going through something difficult in a relationship, but I feel like by the end of the week, no matter if a relationship dissolves or something gets put right, there will be balance brought into your life as a result of a heavy weight being lifted off your shoulders. This week it will feel like there's a weight that's lifted off your shoulders, is what I feel. And for some of you, it's going to be a truth that you're going to realize that's going to make it clear to you why you've been behaving the way you have been. Or this could be vice versa, a truth that you reveal to one of your one-to-one relationships that really clears things up, and someone says like, oh, I didn't see it from that perspective before. So like, there is definitely a lot of opportunity for putting something right within a conflict, within deep wounds with communication and love and partnership, the 7th house. But for others of you here, the only way to bring justice is, once again, to remove yourself from a relationship if abuse shows up, or if it's just too much for you to handle, okay? And you really know it deep down in your core, okay? So depending on your situation, something will be lifted, a weight will be lifted off your shoulders. I feel like within there could be a deep wound around suppressing how you really feel. The Ten of Wands is all about suppression, and the Ace of Swords is like blasting out of the Ten of Wands frequency. So there could be something here about the truth coming out, or there could be something here about someone has been holding something in for a very long time, whether it's you in your one-to-one relationships or someone doing that to you, is what I feel. So there could be like a moment of truth here that actually leads to a lot of pain. But for some of you, depending on your consciousness, if you can really allow the truth, they say the truth hurts, but it will set you free. So maybe some of you are going to be learning a deep truth about your own psychology, or the way that you talk and how it makes people feel, because I feel like sometimes Aquarius can be like, I don't really care. On the one hand, you're the humanitarian, you do care about everyone, but sometimes you can be like cold, not aware of how you come off to people. So maybe some of that is going on, awareness. And what you don't see coming, you have the Lovers, the 8 of Cups, and the 9 of Swords. And so this is a really interesting frequency in what you don't see coming. This is definitely to do with once again, the 7th house of love and partnerships. But the 8 of Swords is all about walking away from something, and the 9 of Swords is all about sleepless nights and anxiety. For some of you, you're walking away from a false chumminess and holding something in, or someone is doing that. You're walking away from harmony temporarily. The 8 of Cups is all about walking away from a situation that doesn't feel emotionally satisfactory, and you're entering into conflict here. So sometimes it's like the justice that is going to bring, the truth and the justice that will be brought to your life will actually be something that might be very painful for either you in your relationship or someone else that you're dealing with to actually digest. It could be very painful here. And I feel like in what you don't see coming, there is, you know, especially for those of you know that there's peace within a relationship, but it's only because someone is holding back something. You know, I feel like that you walk away from that and you choose to enter into like a potential conflict here. You know, and like the frequency that I get here, whether it's you doing this or someone else around you, is like he who dares not offend or she who dares not offend cannot be honest. So the sword of truth and justice is all about honesty, giving you honesty. So, but for some of you, your deepest wound is around that. And for some of you, if you're too honest, then you might be made aware of how badly you've been injuring people with that honesty. But for some of you, it's going to be the other way if there's a lot of suppression, which I sense it is for most of you. So don't be surprised if this week you just have an outburst, or your partner, business partner, friend, lover, someone has an outburst here. Could even be in multiple areas of your life that really changes the game and leads to deep pain, but potential for healing depending on how you play it. And your advice, you have the Wheel of Fortune, the Four of Cups, and also the Eight of Wands in reverse here. That's a really interesting advice. I feel like for those of you that have been like abused, or if like abuse shows up and like there's manipulation this week, there may be part of your destiny to actually walk away and to not take emotional bait from someone here. But for others of you, it's all about looking at how the opportunity is to look at how you're not on the same emotional page as someone, a one-to-one relationship, because there's no open communication. This the Eight of Wands in reverse is all about open communication gone wrong. For some of you, this will be too much open communication. For some of you, that once again, this is going to be suppressed. There is no open communication, you know? And so, like, with the challenge being the Knight of Pentacles, for some of you, I feel like there's been a truth that has been like someone has been waiting to say, or it's taking a long time. And like for many of you, I feel like there's something here to look at an opportunity about potentially not taking an emotional bait, or how open communication gone wrong leads to rejection. So it really depends on what side of the spectrum you're on. Is there too much open communication, or is there suppression going on? But in some sort of way, your advice is to look at this. And the Wheel of Fortune has to do with your destiny and fate. And for some of you, it goes back to that original meaning that someone is going to give you advice here that it doesn't, and maybe this doesn't apply to Aquarius because you basically are the sign that views everyone as equal. The janitor is equal to the principal, doesn't matter. So for some of you, I would say be open to alternative advice that you get in passing, or it might not look normal. But for many of you, it's all about getting back on the same emotional page when it comes to communication with a one-to-one relationship. So let's go ahead and start clarifying some of these cards for you. Let's go ahead and clarify why the Ten of Wands is here in your overall general energy. Ten of Wands is clarified by the Eight of Wands, open communication, the Eight of Swords, stuckness, and the Four of Swords having to do with stability and healing of the mind. So yes, there's definitely something about communication being stuck, okay? So some of you are actually stuck in a pattern of just being way too openly blunt and honest with people, and you're not aware of how it's like literally, you know, you want the truth, you can't handle the truth. Some people, they're not ready to hear what you're having to say, and you may think that you're helping them with like a futuristic idea. Hey, catch up to my consciousness. I'm planting seeds. You might not get it now. You might hate me now, but guess what? I'm planting a seed in your consciousness, is some of your rationale. And it may be actually causing more damage than it's helping. But for others of you, there's something about completely suppression, and there is no open communication. And if it's not you, This could be someone in your one-to-one relationships that has been holding something back from you for a long time. There's definitely something with stuckness and open communication. Let's also clarify the Justice card. The Justice card is clarified by the Three of Swords and also the Nine of Wands here. So there's definitely balance being brought to heartbreak and unfinished business. I really feel like this is something that has been put off for a long time, because the Nine of Wands has to do with someone who, like, they're kind of looking behind them. Like, I have something to say, I have something to do, but I haven't done it yet. And I feel like the Justice card here is that something that has been needed to say, or something that's been needed to be brought to balance will be, even though it will really hurt someone. Maybe it's you. For some of you, yeah. And now, interestingly enough, you also have the Seven of Pentacles and the Knight of Pentacles here. So there is like a lot of hope, and it's almost like there's a reset here. It's still like there's something about a good investment, and like being able to slowly work your way back to normalcy or balance within a relationship. But something has been waiting to pop off is what I really get here. And someone could have been hurt for a long time. And so if there's a lot of conflict here, or if someone bursts out, you know, whatever it is, it's like this has been waiting to happen for a long time this week. So just even if you know the exact thing that someone needs to hear, be very careful with it, because I feel like for some of you, it's like you know the exact thing that's going to help someone, but maybe they're not. Like everyone is having their own timing, so you just need to be aware of that. Let's clarify why the Nine of Swords is here and what you don't see coming. The Nine of Swords and what you don't see coming is clarified by the King of Cups and the Six of Cups here. This has to do with unconditional love, someone who's aware of emotional undercurrents, and the Six of Cups has to do with the past and your childhood. So for a lot of you, this is, in what you don't see coming, there's deep emotional wounding here that leads to a lot of anxiety, and it's something that is not new. And perhaps this is your deepest wound that it's been waiting for, you know, there's been a long time that has had to pass for you to be able to fully be in a state to fully be aware of this deep wound from your past here, okay? And I feel like there's something with the Six of Cups and the King of Cups is like, if someone around you is, if you say something to someone and they have a behavior that's completely, it doesn't fit the script of what's going on, it's because it's bumping against their deepest wound and trauma from the past. So if someone has a reaction that's completely, it doesn't match it doesn't match like the situation, you know, then it's probably something to do with their past that's bleeding into the present moment. So whether it's you and you're realizing the whole reason why you communicate in such a blunt manner is because of a deep wound that you have, and maybe there's like a protector part of your personality that, like, a lot of your personality is based on just being like a blunt communicator. Like, some of you have to realize, why am I like that? Why am I not attuned to people? Is it because, oh, I know the truth and I'm planting seeds in their consciousness? Or is it because it's like a deep wound that you actually need to look at, that someone may be bringing up to you that you may not want to look at? For some of you, it's going to be someone that you're dealing with, though, and it's going to be a very deep wound that is coming up. And so you may say something and not understand why their reaction is overblown. It's because they're not necessarily reacting to what is happening in the present moment. Their consciousness is still fragmented from the past. So just be aware. Like, I feel like there's going to be something you say to someone and you're like, how did they flip out about that? And it's because it's not just the present moment. The past is alive within us, you know? So, for some of you, yeah. Let's clarify where the Wheel of Fortune is in your advice. The Wheel of Fortune is clarified by the Nine of Cups, the Emperor, and also the Page of Wands here, which is a pretty interesting advice here. For some of you, this is definitely looking at selfishness. Some of you need to put yourself first more, and you need to be more in control of your communication instead of, once again, just suppressing everything. But for some of you here, you may need to look at how you're, I'm in control of my life. It may be a front coming from a deep wound from your past here coming up. I don't know. I'm not really connecting to it fully. There is something to be said about a maturity gap, perhaps. The Page of Wands and the Emperor here, there could be something to do with a maturity gap, that there is a big opportunity for you to cash in on. So if someone who is more mature than you is triggering you, I feel like there's an opportunity for you to actually allow that to happen. Vice versa. You may be much more spiritually, emotionally, psychologically mature than someone, and I feel like there's an opportunity to work through it. Like there's something about an opportunity having to do with a maturity gap. But for some of you, it's all about like lessening your control. Yeah. So let's also just clarify why the Eight of Wands in reverse is here. And your advice. You have the Chariot. Yeah. The Eight of Wands in reverse is clarified by the Chariot, the Justice card in reverse, and the Seven of Swords here when it comes to your advice, clarifying the Eight of Wands in reverse. So for some of you, I feel like it's all about saying, like, you have free will to say whatever you want, but it doesn't mean that it won't cause negative karma, or it won't bring, it doesn't mean that you can just say whatever you want without it having a negative karmic effect on you, or something is being brought out of a balance, because you also have the Seven of Swords here, which is all about scheming, subversive behind the scenes behavior, deception going on here. So some of you here, you're going to be deceiving yourself here by just being like, I can do whatever, I have freedom to say whatever I want, I'm divinely protected to say whatever I want. But really, it could be coming from a wounded place within you, is what Spirit is saying. There could also be someone here who is divinely protected to say something to bring up a deeper wound that will temporarily cause disharmony and a lack of balance here. And for some of you, use your intuition, this may be you. Some of you are going to be divinely protected with the Chariot to temporarily, or for some of you permanently, disturb the peace within your relationship in order to bring up behavior that is not acceptable, or that is actually deception, self-deception, but it probably will lead to a conflict. So with that being said, I'm going to conclude this reading, Aquarius. I hope that this helped you. Be really ready for deep wounding and communication within your relationships this week, is what I would say. So with that being said, I will talk to you next time.